Yo guys, welcome back to another video. So as you saw from the title, I am qualified for nationals. So basically I was in between the 20 best in Quebec. So the 20 best go in nationals, and I'll be competing on November 21st at the gym Block Shop, if I'm not mistaken, in Montreal. So it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. But for now, I need to train. So this month, I'll be doing some training of like 4 minutes on a boulder to adapt to the format of the qualifying round in nationals. So in this session, I'll be trying 7 boulders and I'll only give them 4 minutes per boulder. And basically, I'll try to create some zones and I'll try to get the tops, of course. But basically just adapting to the format and trying my best on these boulders I've selected. So without further ado, let's get into the analysis. Alright, this one is circuit 7. You start off with an undercling, then you got this hole that looks pretty good. Then you jump into this hole that's really bad. It looks like a crimp, but it's pretty flat. And you probably bring a heel hook on the left. You go left, a heel hook on the right, probably, I'm guessing. And then you cross. And the ending does not look too bad. I hope these holes are not as bad as they look. But I would say the ending is not the problem. I think the middle section is going to be a little weird. I can probably get this one in 4 minutes. Alright, so we are on boulder number 1, and as you saw from my analysis, I was saying these moves look a little hard, but it's definitely like doable in 4 minutes. As it turned out, I underestimated this boulder because when I got to these moves, they felt a lot harder than I thought they would be. And especially this undercling right there. It was so flat compared to what I thought it would be that I was struggling a bunch to get to the next bench up there. And yeah, I was like, oh, in 4 minutes, I can probably give it like 3 or 4 attempts max, because even from my first attempt, I was a little pumped already because all of these moves were a lot harder than I thought. Even this one, like it was pretty limit. I thought I was just gonna put the heel hook, but I ended up cut loose. And yeah, it was pretty hard. Even this undercling there, I really wanted to go left hand, but I had to match and then go right hand, which is something I didn't read at all from the ground. But anyways, I tried this boulder 3 times already, and this is my last attempt. As you saw, I have like 30 seconds left. And this attempt is just like desperate because I know I'm not necessarily getting the boulder, but I still want to work on my endurance. And I was so pumped here, and I didn't think I was like gonna stick this undercling and move past it, but as it turned out, it was my best attempt because from the ground I could match this one, and I arrived to the last section of the boulder, but I was just too pumped. But that was some great effort. From the ground, I really thought I was gonna get this one in 4 minutes, but as it turned out, it was a lot more difficult than I thought. But it wasn't like impossible. If I knew the beta right away, I think I could have flashed it, but I would need to know exactly how the holds felt and what moves to do. But anyways, we're gonna move on into boulder number 2 now. We have circuit 7, probably around the 8 also. You start off with these weird holes, and pretty much weird holes all the way up. So I don't really know how to hold them, like what part of the hold is the best. But I think it's pretty straightforward. You just go up, put some heel hooks in, and I think this section is going to be a little weird. I see 2 holes. I don't really know what I'm going to use them for, but I'll see. I think it's doable in 4 minutes. Alright, boulder number 2. This time we have the same circuit, so V8, V9. And these holes, I don't know them too much, but these positions were a little weird and I wasn't too comfortable, but I could get a flash of this one because, I don't know, I try-harded and it didn't feel too bad. I would say the last move was probably the hardest one for me, but all in all, it was alright. It was a pretty nice boulder and I didn't struggle much on this one. Oh, and by the way, in a few seconds you'll see my friend yelling at me that he wants me to do it again in like the rest of my 4 minutes when there's like 30 seconds left, and you'll see it's pretty funny.
Non, je le refais pas. Tu le fais une deuxième fois. Non.
Tu l'as fait mieux la deuxième fois.
Non, non, non.
Oui.
J'ai peur, je suis pompé.
Man, t'as pas le choix.
Non.
T'as pas le choix. Tu y retournes quand il reste 30 secondes.
Je suis rien au max.
2 minutes de repos encore.
Ok. Oui.
Alright, so I tried this boulder again when there was 30 seconds left, because in a competition when there is 30 seconds you usually give your last attempt. And right here I didn't recover fully. As you can see here, I'm already bringing my elbows back because I was a little pumped, and that right hand was super bad where I took it. And I still got the top of this one, so I was proud to get this one twice in 4 minutes. And I think my friend forcing me to do this boulder again in 4 minutes was definitely a nice touch, because I wouldn't have necessarily tried it again since I topped it, but I think it's a good exercise. For example, if you miss the last hold and then you gotta rest for 2 minutes and then you go again when you know you can get it, but you gotta give one last attempt. This is circuit 8. As you can see, it's a pretty good crimp here. The other one is not too bad, I think. The only problem are those foot. Look at those foot. They're so bad, every single one of them. And the handholds are pretty bad too. This one looks kind of flat. This is absolutely flat. And you probably do a compression on those two and bring your foot up and somehow go over there. I have no idea how to get there. So I think in 4 minutes, I don't know, I should probably put my zone as one of these two holes, because I don't think the last move is too hard. So putting a zone there would probably be too far. So I would say zone on this one. If I can get it controlled, then I think it's gonna be pretty good. All right, let's get destroyed real quick. This boulder is so damn hard. I tried it again after my 4 minutes and I couldn't top it. I think it's around V10. And this move was so epic. You gotta generate with those small crimps and go into the two underclings. The only problem is that the foot are so bad and you gotta smear very hard into the wall, because in order to stick the undercling, your right foot needs to push a lot on the wall. So that was definitely tricky, and on my third attempt, I think I could finally get these two underclings, and I said to myself, like, this is the zone for me. Never mind, my fourth attempt. But it was definitely like a tricky move, but even the ending was so hard. And I showed you those footholds before, they're really bad. So you basically have these two slopey, slopey holds, and after that you gotta bring your foot up. And it's just a super hard move. And in 4 minutes, I was really proud to get the underclings. As you can see here, I'm so happy. Like, I know I'm not gonna top the boulder, but I'm like, yeah, I got the zone. Even though there's like no zone, but I know this first move was definitely tricky. And this is my last attempt. I stuck the move again, but yeah, just sticking this and then moving your feet is pretty hard. So I didn't top the boulder, but I am proud of getting like the first tricky move on this boulder, because it's a really hard one. Alright, next boulder, we have circuit 7. Start off with this undercling, that's not too bad. And then this crimp, that's pretty alright too. You gotta do this left bump to this one, the crimp. And then you do left foot, right foot drop knee, I think. And you probably just go to the jug in a dyno. That hold is not too good. It's not like a complete jug you can just one arm. So it's like a jump, and you probably have to hit the left right after taking this one. So like right, left in one motion. So I think it's gonna be a tricky move to get in 4 minutes. We'll see if I can get this dyno. I think it's pretty much over. Well, I jinxed myself, because I did get the dyno once, but I did not top this boulder again. And the only reason why is because this move was so tricky. And again, I was super proud of getting that dyno in 4 minutes. You'll see in a few seconds. But this move was pretty hard to learn. After my 4 minutes, I gave it about like 10 tries, maybe more. And it was like a weird right-left, because it all goes on the drop knee on the right, like this. And you generate like in a diagonal way. And when you take that semi-jug, you gotta like rotate to get the other one. And right there you see I'm like so disappointed of missing that jug, because I talked to the setter and he said, yeah, it's definitely droppable. When you get the side pull and you go to that under, you can grab the dual text instead of the hold inside. So I was not happy to drop that move, and I couldn't get the dyno again, so I was pretty disappointed. You'll see in a few minutes though, I tried this boulder again and I can get the send, but for now, we'll just get into boulder number 5. Alright, this boulder we can see you have to start like in a Gaston and then you gotta double flip to this one and the right one, and I'll give myself the zone if I can get to that crimp in a controlled manner, of course. I think it's gonna be hard to do the flipping in 4 minutes, but if I can get to the crimp, then it's gonna be a nice, at least a nice zone for me. Oh, I should also do a close-up of this hold. It's pretty flat. It's gonna be better with chalk, but for now, yeah, this is terrible. The compression is not too good. Alright, this boulder is epic. You can see this first move is a sick flip, but I wouldn't say this is the crux of this boulder. It was definitely a hard move and I had to use a lot of strength. And right here, I read the boulder wrong because I tried to get to that crimp that I said would be the zone for me. But I definitely think the right beta is just putting a left heel hook and then you go into the next hold, which is pretty bad. But in this attempt, I made a very nice try because right here, I put my left heel hook and I touched the zone because I said to myself, I want to get the zone, and I used the crimp to get to the next hold. And even though I didn't stuck the next move, I knew like in my head I had the zone. So it was a good attempt for me. But oh well, now that I knew I had the zone, I was like, okay, I need to try something else because it's definitely not gonna work if I take that crimp. But my attempts after that weren't too good, and I would say like trying this boulder more than 5 times in 4 minutes is pretty hard because these holds are slopey, you use a lot of strength, and look at that hold, it's so bad. So again, another boulder that I didn't top, but I'm not really disappointed. Like, these boulders are really hard and I am working on my 4 minutes, and next video you'll see me try like 20 competition boulders. But in this session I picked up some really hard boulders and I just tried to do them in 4 minutes. I knew I couldn't get them all in 4 minutes, but it's definitely a good training to just know how many attempts to give and how fast I can recover from my attempts. So that was boulder number 5, and let's get into boulder number 6. So this is a circuit 6, the white one, and these are big holds. Since it's a circuit 6, I'm guessing it's V8. The holds do look pretty good, but yeah, definitely bumpy. So I'll try to do this one twice in 4 minutes. I think it's gonna be a good training because I have to do like a simulation of if I fall on the last move. So like resting for 2.5 minutes or something, and then I go again. We'll see if I can at least flash it, but I'm guessing I can do this one twice in 4 minutes. Okay, so we're getting into easier boulder now. It's around V7, V8, and this one I thought I was gonna do it twice in 4 minutes, but as it turns out I could get this one 4 times because on my first attempt, as you can see here, I'm moving pretty fast. And right here, I didn't struggle as much as I thought I would. So I got a pretty quick flash of this one. And I was like, you know what? I'll work on my endurance. And I think this is definitely doable 4 times in 4 minutes. So my friend was also telling me like, okay, rest a little and then at 3 minutes you go again and try to do this boulder as many times as you can. And you can see here, my climbing is not too good. I'm a little more shaky. You can see I'm more like pumped and just now moving too comfortable on the moves. But I could get this one again with the same beta, just cut losing on the second to last hold. So it wasn't too bad, but on my 3rd attempt, this one, you can really see I'm climbing bad. Like, I'm getting pumped here, and even just this flip is taking a lot, but definitely in this middle section, I could feel my arms getting so pumped, and I thought I was gonna fall anytime, but right here, yeah, I thought I was just gonna lose it. But I could hold this one, and it was a desperate send because I was, yeah, I just couldn't pull as much as I, like on my first attempt. So again, when there was 1 minute left, I gave it my final attempt. And my goal was really to get this one 4 times because I want to work on my endurance, and if I can get a pretty strength-based boulder 4 times in 4 minutes, like if I can try them 4 times, then I think it's a good sign. But right here you can see I'm fighting. It's a pretty difficult, like these holds do get pretty bad when you're pumped, and I could finally just stick the tension here and get the send of this boulder again. But it was a pretty hard fight, and it was a really good like endurance training. Now we have the circuit 6. It's probably around V8. I have no idea about the beta. I'll figure it out. I'll try to get this one in 2 times in 4 minutes. Okay, so as it turns out, I didn't even get this boulder. So I said I would get this one probably twice, but you'll see up there, I got pretty frustrated because the box was pretty small, and even just this section, I underestimated it. All these crimps weren't too good, and the middle, like in here, the box was also pretty small, so I was just so much out of my comfort zone, and I didn't really know, like I definitely thought it was going to be easier, and I took a lot of time on my first attempt. It was probably like 1 minute and 40 seconds, so I couldn't try it many times after that. But right here, I was so confused, and I thought I was just going to get it pretty easily, but I don't know, all these holds were not as good and as I expected. And the last section was also pretty tricky, because when I had to do the last move like this with the cross, I couldn't even like put some weight on my feet, because I was probably using like a reachy beta that wasn't really intended. So I was just super confused. I was like, what the hell? I'm not getting this twice in like 4 minutes, but at least I'm gonna try to send it. And on like 30 seconds left, my friend Alex told me like, all right, you're waiting till 30 seconds and then you try to do this one. But even then, I thought I learned something. Like right here, I could finally get the cross and my right foot on the right hold. But the matching is so annoying, because it was definitely made for smaller people. If that's the intended beta, you have to match in this position, and I could not get the drop knee any lower. Like I'm pretty long, and in that position I just felt super crunched. So unfortunately I could not get the send of this boulder, and I was annoyed because this is a easier boulder. So in my head, a circuit 6, so V7, V8 should be really doable in 4 minutes, but I guess I was just like putting some extra pressure, and it's not really bad. Like it happens, and I knew that this boulder was definitely less of my style with the small boxes, but yeah, it's whatever. I think I did good in all of the boulders, but most of all, instead of looking at my performance, I know I did a good training, because 4 minutes on these boulders was a good way to like really recover and try to limit my attempts and really play with time to see how many attempts I can give in 4 minutes. Okay, so I'm back on boulder number 4, and this boulder is so damn tricky. As I told you, like I got the jump earlier, but I felt like I didn't learn much on how to do the movement, and I was really looking forward to like understanding this movement. And what I did differently is basically my right leg had to like drop me as I'm going up. I had to go down, and then as I'm going up, I drop knee and then push myself diagonally. It's super weird to explain. Like you had to try the movement to understand what's the position like. But right here, yeah, I'm just drop kneeing, and as I'm doing that, I can get like the good position to go right, left. But right now, I was really focused on not dropping this move finally. And I knew the ending wasn't too bad, because the holds did look pretty good, and the tricky section was definitely to getting the dyno. That was a pretty like tricky coordination, and I was proud to understand this movement, because each attempt I was like, oh okay, maybe I need to drop knee a little more, maybe I need to do it later, and maybe I just need to jump up. And I definitely learned that movement, and if I see it in a competition, I'll know how it feels like. And now we are on the first boulder that gave me nightmares, but I finally knew what to do, and with some decent rest, it wasn't too bad. In 4 minutes though, it's a really hard boulder. But right there, I knew the undercling was not too good, and there I knew that the pinch, I had to take it a little more on the right to get the match. But I didn't really try this section. So when I got there, I was a little confused, and I actually jammed my left foot between those two holds, and that felt really scary. Like my hands had no chalk, so I could slip anytime, and my left foot was jammed. so it was maybe a little sketchy, but I could still send it because I really wanted to get the boulder. And right here you see this is the last boulder we did, and I did not want to try this one again because I knew the matching was going to be a small box, but I still decided to try it just to, like, you know, sometimes you gotta get out of your comfort zone, and I was really not comfortable there. As you can see, I'm super like crunched, but I could get the send anyways. Okay, so we're finishing off the session with a V11 flash, and this is definitely my first V11 I flashed on the kilter board, or ever. And I know it's a little soft, but when you flash like a grade, like a new grade, you're definitely taking every little chance of getting the boulder. So yeah, I gave it V11 also. I think it's a little easier maybe, but I was proud to get this one because I love kilter boarding and that was definitely my style. So just a quick kilter boarding after my session, and yeah, it was a super cool session. I had fun doing this 4 minutes. Next video is going to be a lot more fun though, because I'll get more sends because the boulders are not going to be as hard. But I look forward to it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time, guys.